research you do is subject to 4 questions. Readers, they look into all these 4 before they spend their time in reading yours and to get use of it. Number 1, validity. Number 2, reliability. Number 3, objectivity. Number 4, generalizability. Validity of your research. This is the validity test that we are talking about. We use data collection instrument to collect data to analyze for our researches. Now, this data collection instrument, does this collect the data what it's supposed to collect? If the answer is yes, your research may be valid. If the answer is not yes, if it is no, and your research may not be valid. You may play games with guns to reach a target, and if you can use your gun to reach the target the way you wanted, this gun is valid for this game. Otherwise, if you don't reach the target, if it goes everywhere, then this gun is not valid for this game. You will lose your game if you use this. A-level exams are used to select students for universities. So this exam says for some students, go to the university, you are selected, and for some others it says you are not selected, go out of the university. So does this exam a valid exam to test the eligibility of students to enter into university? In some cases we see wrong students are in the university and right students are out of the university as well. So is this test a valid test? Organizations use sales capability test to select or to recruit salespeople. The top scorers will get recruited and the low scorers will get dropped. Now the question is whether this test is getting the right or top good salespeople into the organization and dropping the bad salespeople out of the organization. The answer is doubted. So is this test a valid test? Right, how to make this data collection instrument or sales capability test a valid test? You may have recruited 5 salespeople in the past and you know their marks they scored in this test, and you can have the record of the revenue they brought in the last year as well. You bring those 2 into a graph. You put the revenue in the x-axis and sales capability test marks on the y-axis and have a graph. If the graph has a positive linear relationship, we can say the more marks you scored, the more revenue you bring in. So there is a validity. If you score more marks, you can bring in more sales. But if you have a graph like this, you have the data points everywhere in a circle like this, we can say there's no connection to the test and the revenue you bring in. You have higher marks in the test, but you have lower revenue. And you have higher marks, you have higher revenue as well. You have lower marks and you have higher revenue also. So you have different patterns there. In that case, we can say this test is not valid. So if you find out this test is not valid, we can go back to the recruitment that we have done years ago, that we might have missed loads of salespeople there as well because they scored low marks. That meant to us at that time they can't do sales, but this test says this is not valid for you.